Yes.
a lot of people are maybe potentially looking at renovations, but on the flip side, a lot of people are maybe looking to move out of their house into a different house.
That's right.
When you start looking at, or when people start looking at a house, well, I mean, we were just talking with Brooks about kind of that first step of going into a renovation. Maybe it's just talking to somebody. When somebody starts looking at a house, their first step is typically going online. When should somebody maybe approach a real estate agent or somebody to maybe understand what's going on in the market more than just, spending time online checking out houses?
Right. Well, there are fabulous tools for people now. In fact, we were talking about it the other day. Realtors used to gather around the offices on Fridays because that's when the MLS listing book would come out, and they'd have one picture of each house on each of these listings in this big fat book, and all the realtors would fight over that book to try to find listings for the people that they're working with. Now, people have so much information. They have dozens of pictures. They have square footage, description of the house. They can get on the
taxes, estimated mortgage payments.
Well, they can get on Google. They can actually look at the street that the house is on. That's right. They can look through all the county records, everything that they need. So really, people are at an advantage, even from 10 years ago in terms of what they can do. And a realtor's job has shifted in that sense. He's not the person that goes out and finds a house for people as much as helps them to identify their needs, narrow down what they are looking for, and then jumps in and helps with the negotiation process, make sure all the documents are in place, and just smooths out the whole program. And it turns out that statistically, if you use a realtor, you actually end up spending 8% less on average for your house because the realtor just knows the process, knows how to negotiate. And so there are benefits to getting that realtor involved. But I like to encourage people to to spend some time on the internet, maybe even go drive around and get it narrowed down to 3, 4, 5 homes, and then give me a call.
So you talked about the difference between maybe what a real estate agent, realtor did before versus now. You said maybe before they helped you find a house, and now they're more of helping you negotiate for the house and maybe help you through the process.
That's right.
When somebody is looking for an agent and they say, well, I'll help you find your dream home, which is probably on half the real estate websites in the world. It really is, maybe a third, I don't know. Is that not what agents are doing at all? How many houses are most clients bringing to you saying, yeah, I like this one, I like this one, I like this one, versus, you saying, here's 4 new ones. Did you see these?
Well, a lot of times the first contact that we do have is with someone who has found a house on the internet or someplace else, and they've contacted us for help. But usually because, like Zillow or Trulia, for instance, fantastic websites, but they don't keep up with the current status of the home. I would say 60% of the people who come to me with ideas from one of those websites, I have to come back to them and say, sorry, it's pending, or even it's already been sold. So there are benefits to some of the sites that the real estate agent has access to. We also work with people like Brooke. Builders who are doing renovations and building new homes. We know what's going on in the community at some levels that you'll never find in a website. So, there are benefits still to identifying a home.
So I guess in some ways in such a competitive market as we have right now, the ability to not only find houses that are online, but maybe houses that may be coming online or maybe coming on the market, maybe is a better term. Those are, I guess, more on the radar of somebody who's doing this for a living rather than just, you guys aren't looking at Zillow.
Right. And there are aspects of looking for a home where you just need to have someone who's done it 50 or 80 or 150 times, because especially right now, one of our fellows went to a seminar 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they mentioned that in King County there are 7 buyers for every listed home right now. So you are in a dogfight, especially if it's a well-priced home. Just a side note, if you're trying to sell your house and you don't have 3 buyers, you're not priced right, because everyone else is experiencing piranha who are circling the house and fighting over the place. So
a couple weeks ago it was koi fish. Now we've gone to piranhas.
No, now it's getting more ravenous. And But like one aspect that you'll hear, but these are the kinds of things that a realtor can help you with. You need to go to a lender first and get pre-qualified, especially if you're going to jump on a possibility of a decently priced home and actually beat somebody else out. You've got to be ready as though you have cash in your hand. Even though you won't necessarily, you can have a pre-qualified or pre-approval letter from your lender so that you are armed with, being able to actually make an offer immediately on a property. So that a lot of people don't know that's a free process. Lenders are hungry for you to come and take advantage of their free service of, checking your credit and being able to approve you. It not only arms you with that ability to move very quickly if you find something, but it also gives you a better idea of what you can afford. Some people, frankly, are surprised at how little or how much they can afford based on where their credit history lies.
Yeah, and where rates are too. I mean, that's such a huge, huge piece of it. And, rates tick up, they go down. They tick up, they go down. But do you sense a lot of fear in the buying power based on interest rates right now? I mean, are people afraid that in 6 months they may not be able to afford as much as they can now?
I think, they've been if you feel...
People take it so short term. Like rates have always been at 3.5. They're going to stay there forever. We say, oh, well, they're not going to go that high. And you show them a chart from like 2-3 years ago. They're like 6. Yeah. And people are like, it's amazing the short-term memory that a lot of home buyers have when it comes to financing, because we actually talking on a show yesterday about the financing isn't that sexy. People are like, they'll spend days and hours and months and years online looking at houses, and they'll spend 3 minutes on on a website going, yep, that's where interest rates are. Okay, cool, back to the house. Mm-hmm. And there's the amount of information.
Right. I think you've heard a little bit of cry wolf for a while in advertising. The interest rates are about to spike. You really have to jump in and do it. On the other hand, there are enough economists out there saying the way the government has been pumping money and the kind of debt that we have, it just can't stay where it is. So
that would mean the rates would probably go
especially
up. Because eventually the wolf comes, right?
Yeah, especially with an attorney in the room. I'm not going to make any predictions even for tomorrow. But I think... you're at a good place right now. I don't see anything dramatic happening during these summer months when it's popular to buy homes. But I just wouldn't count on it always being at this rate. And there are grandparents who just look with watery eyes at the kinds of rates that we're getting right now, saying people just don't realize how beneficial it is right now and how it can affect your cash flow for, it's a 30-year mortgage, for goodness sakes. If you stay in your house for a number of years, you've affected your cash flow significantly by taking advantage of rates as they are now. So,
yeah, Dean Orrico joins us with Kingston Real Estate. Dean, so when you start looking at people who are going into the home buying process right now, and they've gone online, they've met with you, what should they expect over maybe that first month? Because, most people go in pretty hot and heavy. That's when they're really into it. Should they expect disappointment? I mean, should they expect to be a little frustrated at first? Is that part of the process now?
Well, part of it is what price range you're looking in, frankly. If you're looking for an investment or for a starter home and you want to be between $100,000 and $200,000, you can expect making 6 offers in the next month.
100, yeah.
Because there are a lot of investors and a lot of first-time buyers who are trying to take advantage of that range. If you get to $250,000, $350,000, $450,000, the further you get up in the purchase price, the less competition you have. Yesterday, I had a couple look at 3 houses. They bought one. I mean, it's just that quick. But they were looking in a higher price range. And yet I've worked with people. They finally have an offer on a house yesterday, but it's their 3rd offer. And we've probably looked at 45 homes in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So
I didn't know there was 45 homes on the market.
Well, we looked in Kent, Auburn, Tacoma, Puyallup, Bonnie Lake. I think we were at the base of Mount Rainier by the time we stopped driving.
Like
we were just all
Mount
over.
St. Helens more like.
Anyway, so yeah, it depends on the kind of house you're looking for and how aggressive you want to be. Some people say, I want to buy a house, and they come in, they say, okay, there's the asking price. I'm going to offer $20,000 more than that. I'm just going to get this thing done. Others are still looking for the deals that they were used to experiencing over the last few decades. It's not that kind of a market right now.
What do you seem to see as the biggest, I guess, aspect of a home that people are willing to give on? Is it location? Is it bedroom size? Is it proximity to work? I mean, what do you see people kind of giving on?
I do think that the travel aspect of it has changed. I think people are becoming more willing to commute longer distances. Part of it is because of telecommuting and the ability to do some work from home. But we're seeing people go further afield to get the kind of the size of acreage and home that they want to have for the price they're willing to spend.
Yeah, it's interesting to bring up telecommuting because now it doesn't seem like there's no like hours, right? I mean, if you work in maybe manufacturing, there's still probably hours, but most jobs, like, I could start at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning at home, and then you work until 10. I mean, rush hour is kind of like from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. now, and it's just kind of a slow moving traffic other than in the afternoon when everybody wants to get home. But in the morning, it seems that people are more meandering in at different times.
Yep, yeah. And, they had the benefit of radio in their car, so they could spend all day and,
Especially on
still benefit,
11:50
wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Well, at least from 4 to 5 in the afternoon.
And I'd say 90% of the people around me on the freeway are texting or doing some kind of work on the internet as well. So there's a lot of beneficial time.
Imagine when they actually have the cars that drive themselves. Because then, you'll kick your feet up, you have a little traffic, it's okay, you pour yourself your drink and you just sit and watch a TV show, just like what you do when you get home.
Well, people are bringing more and more of their home in their car anyway, so I think we're getting close.
Take a nap.